I know. I think I'll be going this way. Sorry, roadworks. I should be taking my business elsewhere. Good morning, and the Irish weather forecast has been downgraded slightly to a bit nippy out there. Although it's not all that nippy, it's probably in the early teens, but you know, compared to what we've had for the last month or so, it's a little bit sharp around the edges. Anyway, I've a small thing and a big thing today. So the small thing is, I checked this morning and I'm on 399 subscribers, but let's call it 400. I assume that somewhere in the deepest pits of YouTube there's another subscriber waiting to be funneled into my conversion something or some other stuff to do with YouTube channels and people that make money off YouTube channels, which is me. But 400 subscribers, cheers everybody for listening and watching in, and hopefully it's useful or entertaining, and I haven't gotten too lazy in the last little while that it's not either entertaining or useful. So cheers for that. Don't fucking do it. I see you now. Okie dokie, on to the main event. Q&A answers. So I'm gonna flash them up on the screen, and then I'm gonna do my best remembering. So if I'm not answering the exact question, it's because I remembered it wrong. I don't have YouTube comments here on the bike just yet. So question the first. Already, have I done any big tours? No, I haven't, and it's something I have thought about a bit, just in terms of some of the longer rides I've gone on and that sort of thing, and preparation. It's a funny one because I can't decide if I went on a Europe tour or a longer tour, if I'd want to do it on my own or with a group or with a couple of people. Because I've been on some ride outs and I'm still quite slow on the bike. Now I know slow and fast and whatever, it doesn't matter, but I'm still quite cautious and everything like that, so I'd be worrying I would hold other people up because I'm going at my own pace and taking it handy. So that's why I want to do it on my own. But you know, doing it on your own can probably be very I don't know, maybe it's therapeutic. I might do a longer trip at some point. It's getting into the colder months now, so maybe not the best time now or the next little while, but I would like to go out to Europe. I see some of the roads out there and some of the routes out there are amazing, and it's you know, I always ask myself the opposite question: would you like to have never done that? And I'm like, no, I would not like to have never done that. Did I get my double negatives right? Anyway, yeah, I would like to go do it, but the logistics and the amount of messing done is weird, and I probably want to be on the bike a couple of more years before I went and did something like that on my own. You know, being able to fix the bike at the roadside or being able to do all that. I know that you can, you know, if you are on a BMW, you can probably just ring the number and some chap in a van will come and rescue you, but that idea doesn't really appeal to me. So short answer, yes. Long answer, so cheers Luke for the question. Second question, Captain Mishmash asks if I would ever do a self-build, or if I'm happy enough with the works out of the box Gucci sort of shit. Oh, actually, tune in after the motorway, we can actually hear me. Self-builds versus Gucci. I'm on Gucci for the moment, thanks very much. I would like to get better at oh Jesus, there's a lot of diesel, thanks very much. I would like to get better at the whole you know, working on bikes and doing maintenance and stuff like that, and I did do a bit on some of the other bikes I had, the Version and the ER6. Where are you going? Go. But as for doing a self-build or restoring a bike or something like that, I just don't have the skills or confidence or whatever you call it to go at it. And funnily enough, I'm actually about to move out of a place with a great big garage workshop type arrangement, which is a shame. Maybe in the coming years I might learn to regret that decision, or that particular part of the decision, because any places I'm looking at to move to are smaller in terms of garage size. No, you're being sound. You're being sound. Thanks for being sound. So as for the answer to your question, I'm with Gucci for the moment. Thanks very much. I'm very much of the opinion that if there's a safety feature and it doesn't make the bike no crack at all, then yes, I'll have it, please. Thanks very much. So that's me for the moment. Or I guess a better answer to that question, now that I can concentrate on the question, is I wouldn't mind doing a self-build at some point, or a restoration at some point, if it was for the crack as opposed to as a primary bike, or as a bike for commuting or using all the time. You know, I want to spend as much time as possible on bikes that are, you know, as safe as possible and as modern and no messing around as possible. Now, for some bikers that means, you know, no fancy gadgets because less stuff to go wrong. But to be honest, the modern stuff only goes wrong if you don't fucking, you know, anything on a bike actually only goes wrong if you don't maintain it or don't look after it. So once the bike is looked after, it shouldn't be a big deal having modern appliances and white goods on your bike. Anyway, cheers for that, El Capitan. Question number 3. I think this is how I remember the question. If I was into bikes at 16, would I have been on a bike then? Short answer, no, because I was fucking skint. So at 16 I was still in school, and there was really no question of any sort of vehicular access at all. And actually, fun fact, I didn't actually have a driver's license until I was in my late 20s, because I was in school and then I was in college, where I lived very close to college in Dublin, and then for a while after I lived in Dublin. So I just, for people who live in Dublin, I just didn't have any need for a car or anything like that. And you know, the one chap I knew who had a motorbike in college was, you know, he was forever trying to get it going again and dropping it and doing damage to it and all sorts of messing, and so that sort of had my impression of bike ownership. And actually, there wasn't a bike in the house growing up, but my dad was a biker. He had an old Heinkel Tourist back in the day that he used to ride up and down from Dublin. My brother and my uncle have been on bikes for the longest time, so it's been in the family. But as for driving, I've only been driving about 10 years, and I'm in my late 30s. And biking, the thing that sort of got me into it is having somewhere to store a bike. And I know that's the stupidest possible reason, but I used to live in sort of a terraced house where there was no side or rear access to the house, and there was no garage. So, you know, I'd nowhere to put a bike apart from out the front, maybe on a ground anchor, which I wasn't really into because, you know, any old Egypt could come along and mess with it. So it was only really when I moved out into a place with a garage and the ability to keep it and that I got into it. But yeah, that's the long version of the short answer, which is not a fucking hope. Question 4. Am I grumpy all the time or just on the bike? I know this is a fun question to ask, but there is a serious answer. And the short version of the serious answer is I'm actually less grumpy on the bike, and that could be because of the wonderful therapeutic effects, as people who are on a bike will be aware of. But also just on a more serious note is you can't really be grumpy or angry or other sort of losing the rag kind of way on the bike. You know, I see a lot of videos, and I actually did a video before on, you know, why I don't make those kinds of videos of like just other people doing stupid shit, and you know, how you react to it. And you know, I've seen videos of lads on bikes where like a motorist does something stupid and they actually follow them on the bike and tap on the window and be like, what the fuck were you up to, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, where they did something stupid but pretty innocuous, it's like pulling out, you know, 100 yards ahead where you had to sort of brake a bit, or you know, that kind of shit where like they weren't actually going to hit you but they did something stupid. And you see a lot of cyclists doing that as well. And I remember back from my cycling days, which may be here again, that sort of video. And I just, whether it's accidentally or on purpose, I just develop a sort of a zen attitude to that sort of shit. Because you kind of have to, you know, because I think it makes you safer. Just, yeah, I mean, keep your head on a swivel, watch out for what's going on, watch out for people doing stupid shit, assume people will do stupid shit, but you don't have to be all worked up about how people are going to do stupid shit. People are just going to do it, and there's no point in distracting yourself by beeping or rev bombing people or doing that sort of shit. Just learn from it and move on, and don't have a big head about it, and don't have a big ego about it, and yeah, that kind of thing. So in a way, I am less grumpy on the bike because the bike is good for me and because it's safer. There's your public service announcement for today. I'm all about the community and public service, me. There's another fucking enormous Jeep that thinks he can beat me off the lights. Very grumpy. Oh, pull out in front of me. He is the worst. Oh, look at him got across the thing. Is such the worst driver ever. Get out of the yellow box, you maniac. Fucking pigeons, fuck off. This shit is what makes me not grumpy.